UWF's future. We care about the post-secondary education available in the Panhandle. And we care about UWF and its partnership with Northwest Florida. Did you know that UWF is the 4th largest employer in the Panhandle? And did you know that it brings $1.1 million to the regional economy? Billy, I'm sorry. Thank you. You know, as former Mayor Vince Wicks used to say, we live at the gate of the western gate of the Sunshine State, where we all live as others wish they could. A quick bit of housekeeping. On the website, you can sign a petition. When you do, the petition is run by an organization called change.org. When you do, they ask for a donation. That donation goes to change.org, not to us. And I think the wording is very vague, but, you know, they, I'm sure, hired very good lawyers to do it. And there will be more yard signs coming as soon as we figure out how to fund them, and you will be able to find out when those are available by going to the website. On the check-in table, there was a little business card with say UWF on it, and on the flip side is the website address and a QR code in the house. May I quickly tell you how Save UWF came to be? As a former trustee at UWF, I was distressed about the people being considered for the Board of Trustees, and I wasn't alone. We got together, we talked, a petition was written, and Save UWF was created. We are a grassroots group, all volunteer using our own funds so far. And for your interest and support and shared outrage, we all most humbly thank you. The question I'm most often asked is, how can I help? The first step is you're interested. You're here tonight to find out more and ask questions. Pick up the Save UWF card, look at the website. We update it, Presti updates it every day. Some of us don't know how to do that. And on the website, you will find a petition. You will also find news, relevant articles that have just come out. Sign the petition if you will. Don't give them a donation. Or sign the paper ones that are being circulated here tonight. They'll all get to Tallahassee, and we will send those petitions to Tallahassee. And the number of people who have signed it is very impressive, and it gets the attention of the senators and the people in Tallahassee. They realize we're watching what they're doing, we're paying attention, and they can't fool us with it. Also on the website, you will find addresses for the senators. This slate of trustees go through 2 committees. They pass on them, then they send them to the Senate for confirmation. Write to the senators who are on those 2 committees and tell them that you are a constituent and you are not happy with what's happening. When more are available, get a yard sign and put it out, wear a button, talk to the people you know and share the story. And third, keep following and keep emailing and keep writing the senators. And check the website also for news and updates. The speakers tonight will share their expertise, and they have different views of UWF and the board that we want to. They will give you insight into how the system works, the impact of the board, how much power the board has, and thereby the university's role in the Panhandle Partnership with all 7 counties that we serve. After the speakers, there will be an opportunity for comments and questions. Please keep those respectful and appropriate. I know that we all feel very strongly, but no personal comments, please. And now may I introduce our MC for the evening, the 55th Mayor of Pensacola, a former legislator, and a long-time UWF fan, Mr. Jerry Mayberg.
55th mayor. I didn't know that. The last time I faced a crowd this big, somebody had a rope. It was looking kind of dismal. But thank you for being here. I apologize to those of you who have to stand. No, I really don't. It's always good to have standing room only, right? It's good to have all of you here. Thank you. Thank you for being willing to stand as we proceed with our program. And let me just sort of mention a couple of things. We've got a few speakers lined up. They're going to speak 5, 6, 7 minutes each. They're going to take the time necessary to explain a little bit about what's going on at the university to you. Part of this day is dedicated to educating you not just about the university and the issue, the immediate issue, but what we're doing in the community and how long we've been doing it and how well it's worked for all of us. I ran across a statistic just this past week. 53% of all teachers in Skid and Santa Rosa County graduated from UWF. That's a big impact. Teachers in front of a bunch of students, and good things are going to happen. So we're just delighted for that kind of impact. After they speak, we'll have time for questions and answers or comments. We'll talk more about that when the time comes. We booked the hall here from 5 to 7, and we'll move along just as quickly as we possibly can. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. Now listen, I'm going to take it back to about the middle of the 1960s. I had just graduated from high school, and I took a job with the old State Road Department. It's fancy now. It's called the Florida Department of Transportation. But in those days, it was the State Road Department, the State Road Organization. And it had a board of directors, and they sort of ran things. And I applied for a job, and they said, here's your machete. You're now on the survey crew. I said, what do they do? They'll tell you when you get there. I showed up out in the wilderness, and we were chopping a trail through the woods, and I said, what are we doing? And they said, we're cutting a path to do a survey to put a road here. And I said, really? Where is it going? They said, there's a new university just over the horizon. It's coming out of the ground. And we worked all summer, and finally got to the point where I could see the steam coming out of the ground from John C. Pace Library. And I knew then what I know now. UWF is here for good. And it's our university. Like many of the families in this community, Bears, Alpinard, Saints, Goodens, on and on. We've committed a sizable portion of our estate to that university. Because we not only love it, we want it to prosper. We want it to do really good things going forward in the future. We've assembled here today to equip each of you with what's good about UWF. We want you to hear a positive message. We want you to hear about the university apart from all misrepresentations coming out of Tallahassee, and more specifically our governor's office. You need to know this is a positive place, and we don't need it to bend to trends and ideologies that don't match the neighborhood. Very bright. And you're going to hear from some of these people as to why that's certainly the case. And we're going to keep it that way. Our first speaker today is Belle Baird. Belle is a matriarch of an outstanding family in our community. We miss Lewis to this very day, but their work continues on as part of the Baird Family Foundation. She's a financial contributor and supporter of UWF, as well as many other things in our community. But she's working very hard to make sure our university maintains its status in this community. In short, as they say in Tallahassee, she's got a dog in her. And she's here to telling you a little bit about her interest and her support for the University of West Florida. Belle?
why I'm here, because of what I'm feeling. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm so glad to see a great crowd here. And I can't tell you how much it means to me to be here today and to talk about something that has been incredibly important to my family and me. Most of all, to Lewis, that we is the University of West Florida. If you knew Lewis, you know this: when he believed in something, he was all in. He didn't just support UWF from the sidelines, he was part of it. Lewis started his involvement at UWF as a UWF Foundation trustee, helping to grow the university, but he didn't stop there. He later joined the board of trustees, and before long, he became the chair. Through all those years, through all those board meetings and discussions about the future of the university, one thing became crystal clear to him. UWF was in great hands under President Martin Saunders. He was thrilled with the direction of UWF was heading. Under Martin's leadership, the university wasn't just growing, it was exciting and excelling. Students are graduating, getting jobs, and making an impact. The programs are expanding, and University of West Florida is setting new standards for higher education. We wanted to be a part of that success. Our family's charitable foundation gave $1 million to help create the supply chain logistics program and fund an endowment to support student tuition. That was Lewis's big. Lewis believed in the power of education to transform lives and build strong communities. He wanted students to have access to real-world skills, real career opportunities, and real success. Beyond that, we didn't just write checks. We got involved. We showed up at all the events, celebrated milestones, and watched UWF continue to grow into the powerhouse that it is today. When Lewis passed away, it was never a question of whether we would continue supporting the University of West Florida. It was just a matter of how. We believed in Martha, we believed in her leadership team, and we believed in the future of the University of West Florida. That's why we gave $5 million to honor Lewis's legacy by naming the College of Business in his memory. College of Business. When I see the sign up, it's awesome. Because this isn't just a university. It is a place where dreams take shape. The futures are built and leaders are made. Lewis saw and I see that. My children, my grandchildren also see that. And I know all of you do too. So today I want to say thank you to Martha, her incredible team, the faculty, the students, and everyone who makes University of West Florida the incredible place it is today. Because University of West Florida isn't just thriving, it's leading, and I know Lewis would be so proud. Thank you.
We're fortunate to have that kind of commitment to the university. Let's give her another big hand. Suzanne Lewis is a fellow alumna, graduate of the University of West Florida, and went on to a stellar career in government service primarily in parks, some of the biggest and best parks. You ever heard of Yellowstone? Her leadership has been absolutely extraordinary. She's the past chair of the UWF Board of Trustees, and her role and impact on the Board of Trustees has been significant. And she's here to talk a little bit about the importance of trustees for the health and well-being of our university. Suzanne?
Never hard, people always ask me, isn't it hard to stand up and speak to a room full of people? Tonight I will tell you there's nothing hard about this. When I look out on all these faces and all these people who are here because they care, it makes what I have to say seem small. So you've really done yourself proud tonight, and I'm honored to be here talking to you. As Jerry said, I started in 1976 as an alumni. I transferred from the University of Florida, which had a lot of distractions. And I met two other people who said they were going to Pensacola, and that's how I got here. And then I moved on after I retired from the National Park Service. I spent 35 years working for the National Park Service Department of Interior. And when I got back in town, I thought, what can I do? I'm not young, and I got a lot to say, and so I thought, I'll see if I can help the university because it helped me so much. And in my years, of 14 years, as being associated with the Board of Trustees, it didn't matter back when I was working, when I was asked, how did you get to be the superintendent of Yellowstone National Park? I gave the same answer repeatedly, because I found a school that values me enough to help me learn to be a competent and skilled person who is ready to go to work. And I went to work. The day after I graduated, which meant the party time was really cut back. And I went to work right out on this beach at Fort Pickens as a seasonal partner. But anyway, as I said, when I began my role, my 14-year role, I began as a member, and then I was a chair of the Finance and Facilities and Operations Committees, and I followed by becoming the vice chair and then the chair. But the best thing that helped me become the chair of the Board of Trustees was serving under the three previous chairs. And that was Louis Fair Jr., Warren O'Sullivan, and David Cleveland. I got to watch them in action. I got to understand their connection with the community, their belief in the university, and their willingness to give, not take. Being a trustee is about giving, not taking. And so, we had a good run, but I think the work of the Board of Trustees it's not easy to understand because it's a bureaucracy. I'm not going to but it's funny that you find that there's essential work and responsibilities that only the board has. So as a community, we place a lot of trust in the individuals who are doing it. And how you engage with the faculty, the staff, the students, to fully understand their needs and attain a full and firm understanding of UWF's mission. I'm going to talk about that several times in my remarks. And to demonstrate humility as serving on the board is not about me as an individual. It is about what the trustees can do to assist UWF carry out its mission. Demonstrate repeated respect at all times for the wide variety of stakeholders who have an interest in the direction of UWF. That's all of you. That's all of you and the many people that aren't here tonight. And all of the students and the faculty and the staff. And to be always aware of the impact that the university has on our region. In any given year, the Board of Trustees is responsible for more than 90 to 100 actions that it will have to take that directly impact the success or failure of the university, the faculty, the students, and the staff, as well as the entire Northwest Florida community and region. Those 90 to 100 actions are driven by primary laws, policies, regulations, but they help constitute the partnership community, and its university. Examples of those actions, and I'm not going to go through my here, is that, first and foremost, strategic planning is based on, at UWF, it's based on a well-vetted, data-driven, widely communicated, performance-measured mission and vision. Let me say that one more time. Strategic planning is based on data-driven, widely communicated, performance-measured mission and vision by all of you in this community. And the trustees have to listen. They have to make themselves available and test their ideas about when they need to be changed in the mission. The trustees also establish and monitor internal controls, really big, and maintain the highest standards of accountability through a lot of audits and a lot of compliance that we have to go through. Those are usually the longest agenda items. But you have to sit and do that. And that gets into the operations of the university. The board of trustees establishes and monitors the budget controls that support the mission and add value for the faculty, the staff, the students, and the community. We also review, approve academic programming and faculty reviews such as STEM. And that's a really important part of what is offered at UWF. The board knows each goes through each and every program that is offered. The board also tracks and monitors the performance metrics for the university, or what is usually referred to as the accountability plan. And that has to go to Tallahassee and be approved by the board of governors, and it's a really important document. When accountability plans first came about, I was on the board. We were not allowed to be crazy about them. I think we didn't understand them. But when we found ourselves in the last week, we got busy and learned how to use that system to improve the university. And it has been a game changer for the university. We have excelled in metrics. The one we're most challenged about is a 4-year graduation rate. And I know this particular year, academic year, President Saunders was able, because of the generosity of this community, to see that every student has some sort of financial support. And that's amazing. That is amazing. Some of the metrics that are most important in the university, as I mentioned, the 4-year graduation rate. A lot of our students are part-time. A lot of our students are parents, single parents, big families, work full-time. But trying to get students through in 4 years is a challenge. But we have raised our success rate on that every year. Every year. And we're hoping to break through this year and be over 50% of the students graduate. Because it saves them money. They're not spending more money on tuition. And they're going out and into the workforce. We also have that, what's called the academic process rate, which is, that we look very closely that the data will tell you that if you can keep a student through the second year of undergraduate work, you got it. And you learn to help them every way you can. And we're measured on that. How many students leave, start their first semester, and they're gone at the end of that year or at the end of that semester. We don't want to lose those students. And we have been very successful in retaining students after 2 years. We also have the undergraduate completion of 2 or more types of what we call high impact practices, and that's internships here in the community, working in their field of interest, participating in research projects as an undergraduate. All of those really help a student be successful, seeing a bit of the real world when they go out and tackle finding a job. We've done really good in that. I think we've scored 10 points, the highest you can get for the last 3 years. It has been a priority of the board and the president to make this school known as a high impact university, where you get a chance to do things early in your education. There are also wages earned 1 year after graduation. We remember one in the state. this region needs, what this community is desiring. And we've seen that translated into the amount of talent that rolls out on graduation days. You know, we do 2 graduations a year because we're so big. We can't do just one. Can't get through it. And in those 2 graduations, you're going to see that talent go right out the door and earn the most right in that first year of any other school in the state. So, you know, UWF is 58 years old. I wish I was 50. And it's had several, it's put itself through several significant changes in its 58 years. It's not that UWF is supposed to change, but change with a cause and a reason to motivate it, back it up, and UWF is capable of changing to meet the needs. Remember, we moved from being a 2-year university, only juniors and seniors in a very limited graduate school, to a full 4-year university and a widely expanded graduate program. Our nursing program was amongst the top in the state and in the country on scoring on tests. Former President Pence, who took the school from what I call the intramural school, although I will tell you that I was on the co-ed intramural championship volleyball. But took it from an intramural-based athletic program to a full-fledged NCAA competitor who is one. So I guess I would leave my remarks with this. The things that I think about that should not change at UWF are those that impact you, the community, the students, the faculty, and the staff. And that we never lose sight of integrity, good judgment, perspective, courage, creativity, dependability, and stability. Thank you very much.
Tall enough to play that sport. I'm like, way up. I ran into one of my scholarship recipients out of the university the other day. I teach a course out there on Fridays. I teach a lady, you know, Martha Saunders. She told me last year that she wanted to butt in on my course, because she feels an obligation to teach just like everybody else out there. And I really admired that. And she better be home right now preparing the quiz for next year. So we can move on. I ran into a student. I said, are you on time? She said, well, this summer will be end of my 4th year. I said, you're graduating? She says, yeah, well, I'm pretty close. I'd kind of like to stay for another football season. I said, you graduate, I'll give you my tickets. Nice. We've got to keep the numbers up. We've got to keep moving forward. Our next speaker is Quinn Studer, who absolutely needs no introduction. I met him first at Baptist Hospital a little over a century ago. Quinn came in and took over the helm of Baptist Hospital, and I have to tell you, and I've told him this before, I learned more in 3 or 4 years working with him than I did in 25 years of healthcare. He just did an extraordinary job with the consulting world. Has made a big difference in not just one hospital, but a lot of hospitals and healthcare providers around the country. He's got a wonderful business here in his place as we sit. And I want to invite Quinn to come up and tell you a little bit from a business leadership perspective about the role of UWF in the economy and the life of our community. Quinn?
Thank you. I wasn't a very good student, so whenever I looked where I sat, I tried to sit between 2 smart people. Anybody else ever do that? And I can read sideways better than I can read frontwards. So I've been reading with Sharon's notes this whole time. So when she gets up here, you might notice she's repeating a lot of things that thank you very much. You know, when I travel most of my weeks. I go to hospitals or healthcare systems. So I did write a book about 7 years ago called Building Vibrant Communities, a little history. So this last week I was in Virginia. for West Virginia. But one thing I do when I go into different, I sort of like challenges. I started out my life as a special ed teacher, private talk employers. My goal is to talk employers into giving people with disabilities a chance. It was trying to do that. If you ever go to a Blue Wahoo game, we have one of the bigger places where if you look there, we would take development of young talent very seriously, certainly people with disabilities, and I think that's really, really exciting. So that's what I did. That's what I did. And the goal was to always optimize each child's human potential. And I think when I left to education, which I think we're all teachers, I don't care if you be a teacher. In healthcare, it was to optimize the organization's human potential. When I got involved in Pensacola, that really haphazardly, they brought me to a meeting and said, we're interested in this little park downtown. I don't think it'll be controversial. Seriously, we'd like a little of your help. And with the shoulders of Jack Fetterman and Vince Wibbs, are we lucky to have those kind of legacies, just like Bill talked about Lewis Barron. When you look at it, sometimes you have to find the positive even in the negative. And of course, one of the positives in this situation is you. Would we all rally if there wasn't something going on? Would people grab our hearts and our minds? Reminds me of a story of an experiment, a scientific experiment. They were seeing how long someone could stand in a room of manure. And so they had a whole room of manure, and they brought somebody up, and they put him in there, and certainly he started banging on the door. And they opened the door immediately, and the person couldn't stay but a few seconds. Next person banged on the door right away, couldn't stay but a few seconds. Next person banged on the door, couldn't stay but a few seconds. Next person goes in and they're not coming out. Finally, they get worried. What happened to this person? Did they faint? What happened? So they open up the door and there's this person throwing manure all over. And they said, what's going on? He said, there must be a pony in here somewhere. So is there a pony in here? I like to think there is. I like to think there is. One that engages all of us right here to take things a little more personal. You never know when you've lost something until it's gone. When I travel the country, one of the saddest things I see is when a small rural community loses their hospital. When a city loses a school, they never get those things back. So the way to not lose something is to stay engaged with it while it's alive. Stay engaged with its why it's here. So let me talk from a business perspective. I wrote a book called Building Vibrant Communities based on research from the Gallup Corporation. And that's how I got it. It is work, I would get it and fly and go to different cities, studying how they got thriving. How did Portland, Maine do it? How did Savannah do it? How did Charleston do it? In fact, it was pretty cool. Years ago, we benchmarked Charleston, and about 3 months ago, they came to benchmark us. So that's a little thing, isn't it? In 2005, a student left here, only 9% would come back, and they were up to 43%. So we must have made let me do a Gallup study, and then I'll be done. What it showed is great communities thrive for these reasons. And I tend to talk in numbers, but it's not in sequence. The way I talk. I have a speech impediment, and there are certain things I have to do to keep my cadence, or I start stammering too much. Number one, here we go. They know how to keep small businesses that are already in the town. It's less about attracting outside businesses, more about holding what you got and holding what you grow. I see Ashley here, she's it's about attracting new businesses, and that's pretty exciting. American Magic, which DC Reeves has worked so hard on, is going to bring 150 new jobs here, and I think that's really exciting. And then it's crazy, I didn't know this. He said it's about having a vibrant downtown. Anybody remember our downtown 20 years ago? It wasn't vibrant. And why a vibrant downtown? Because young people want a vibrant downtown. Now, when I go to speak in most cities, I can't get the fourth thing. Because most cities don't have the fourth thing. And I don't wanna give something and then have them come up with the reason they can't. So I don't mention the fourth thing. If those of you who wanna know what the fourth thing is, those communities that thrive have a local university. This research was done in 2004 and 2005, published in a white paper called Soul of the City, and then it was also in a book by Jim Clifton called Becoming Jobs. And he says basically those communities that are gonna thrive are dependent on a couple things. Number one, getting your kids ready for kindergarten. John List, the economist, University of Chicago, says you can tell the future of the community on kindergarten readiness. The second thing is about making and creating talent. And that's what UWF is. UWF is a talent incubator. Almost everyone we hire in our companies comes from UWF. Almost everybody around comes from UWF. Years ago, UWF asked me to send a small email to downtown businesses asking if anyone would want to get a UWF student to come in job shadow. And 155 people responded within 48 hours. So when you come to UWF, that's a key. Now let me close with, I work with board of directors in healthcare. And one of the reasons they hire me is usually when they're looking at succession plan. So we've been really fortunate here at UWF, at least I feel we have. And I don't know some of the other ones, but I did know John Kavanaugh. And John Kavanaugh is committed to a downtown, committed to our history. And if you look at the historic district, all the great work down there, that came from John Kavanaugh. Then, of course, they had a succession plan when he left. And who did they pick? Dr. Judy Bent. So let's give her a very round. And then I first met Martha Saunders in Whitewater, Wisconsin, where I went to school. She was the president there. And she called me up and said, could you speak at our graduation? I think that's pretty cool. Whitewater asked me to come back, and she said, well, I know Pensacola. So I went up there, and I was so glad when she came back. And again, Judy brought her back as the provost that then turned her into the president. So once again, Judy had a lot to do with that. So I know you talked a lot, Suzanne, about the role of the board. And let me give you the most important role a board plays, it's selecting the president. That's the most important job. And that's why it's so important for us to make sure we have a great board of directors at the University of West Florida. Thank you.
I love that story about a room filled with renewal. This is a great opportunity to say, well, I've been working in Tallahassee and I can say just about anything. Thank you very much. Dr. Sharon Wiley, VP of Corporate Culture and Industry, sits slow all of her notes. I thought she might come up next and share with us about broader business interests and the impact on the community. Dr. Wiley.
So, I currently serve as the executive director of the Equity Projects Alliance, which is funded by Industry Hotels. And prior to that, worked as the culture for industry. So I was thinking about what I wanted to share today. I think I'm bringing with me a perspective that is multifaceted. For one thing, I worked at the University of West Florida for 24 years. I started the Argo Pantry at UWF. I got my doctorate at the University of West Florida. I was there when Dr. Bentz started our football team. I'm still excited about that. I have an Marks, Kavanaugh, Benz, and Saunders. The University of West Florida has a motto today that says that they are here for good, and they have done good, and they are doing good. While a student at the university and an employee at the university, you need money to get degrees. Did you know that? And so one of the things the university did, and Quinn alluded to, holding on to what you've grown, well, they grew me. They gave me money so I could work part-time for one semester to complete my doctorate. That took a whole lot longer than that, but get over yourself if you didn't take a long time. I did. Because I was working full-time. But the fact that the university cared enough to say, well, Sharon, we value you, and we're going to help you to get through this, right? It's also a place where they look for innovative solutions. We talked about the Argo Pantry. I didn't have the money that was needed to start the Argo Pantry. But an individual said, this is good to do. So we were able to start the Argo Pantry without quite the funding that we needed. And today it has celebrated 10 years in operation. UWF cares about students. I worked first in academic affairs and then in student affairs. And I often call student affairs the underbelly of the university. Now what do I mean by that? I mean that when students are sick, when students cheat on exams, they can have to be reprimanded. You don't necessarily hear about that. But what's really cool is that when you set in place those things that can help students overcome challenges and get to the next side and graduate, it's a good thing that they're doing. I've sat in many meetings of the Board of Trustees over the years. And one of the things that always struck me was, number one, the caliber of folks who were on that committee. Their genuine care when I had to present something that I was pushing for or giving data on something that we had completed. They cared. They understood. They were from the community. So I didn't have to wonder if they got it because they got it. They were a part of it. I also heard Quinn say talent incubator. And I worked with students initially. When I started at the university, we were looking at low-income, first-generation students who often weren't quite where they needed to be in terms of being ready for college. We talk about school readiness, and children are very young. But there's this thing called college readiness when they graduate high school. The university cared enough to support those initiatives. When I started at UWF, there were about 3 to 5% African American students. Today, that figure has grown to 3 times that amount. Why? Because the whole community counts. When we raise I read all the time about the grants and research that they are doing. I look at how we're ranked locally and nationally. I look at the competition that our students are engaged in. I love the fact that UWF is ranked in the top 10 universities as a military-friendly school. That matters. Come from local communities. It matters. matters. It matters. If we can't grow our own students, thank you, homegrown, graduating, and doing good stuff. Getting out of college with the highest pay of any state university, we wrong. Just a little bit on how UWF students impact industry and other companies locally. You all already know that the College of Business has a piece that's known as a hospitality piece that's named for Julian and Kim McQueen. We have advisors that sit on the College of Business in that department. We have students that come and work with us in all of our many entities, because if we give them the experience, if we do the internships, we're more likely to keep them here locally. I have a daughter and a son-in-law who are thriving and doing good stuff. Though they are in California, they began right here in Pensacola. It's so important to keep our school, that the Board of Trustees understand what we're doing and what we're about, that people on the board care about the difference that our students and the university is making in this community. We are indeed here for good and always have been.
Smart thing to do. Generally, they get all the money and all the publicity. And the paper wrote something about this challenger that I didn't like, and I told my dad, I said, I'm going to go down there and give him an earful. And he said, I'm going to remind you of Mark Twain. He said, you never get in a shouting match with somebody that buys ink by the barrel. Our next speaker buys ink by the barrel. Rick Allison is an investigative reporter, one who spends a lot of time digging into local issues and reports that they have to bear in our community. Also published in Weekly. Please welcome Rick Allison.
I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody else. When I wear a pink shirt, I'm kicking ass. Also, if you read the blog, I told you I had 3 options that I was going to use on the speech today. I'm not going to do it. But I left my speech aside because I know you've been here a while. It shows your dedication to the university, how much it is a part of this community. January 6th, I got a press release from the governor's office. 5 new appointees to the Board of Trustees. None of the names I know. Spider sense goes on. I start to check. I said, wait a second. The governor's board, they appointed 3 people in December. None of them were named to the committee. They skipped over people. Suzanne was not re-upped again for a term. Stephanie White was not renewed. I knew people that had applied locally, important people in our community that were skipped over. The last time this happened was in January of 2023, New College of Florida. 5 new board members come in. First board meeting, president's fired. Then they hired the former education commissioner, paying him 3 times per salary. They gut the university, faculty leave. And remember, New College was our honor college in Florida, officially. 689 students. Our middle schools have more students than they. And their president is paid a total package over $1 million. So when I see this happen, I start to call. I call state lawmakers, I call lobbyists, I call political strategists. I talked to editors and people that have been covering Tallahassee for a while. What's going on? What's behind it? Well, UWF's going to be the new college. What they did in New College, they want to do here. They want to show they can do it in a Division II college. And then I started, and if they do it here, they'll go, UF's not too far away, FSU.
Right.
It will be a template that will be used nationally, because we're a bellwether state. What happens in Florida, others will imitate. And I was told there's nothing you can do about it. So what I did was begin to build a story over a period of 2 months. Because I knew to tell a story this big, and for people to digest it properly, you can't spit it all out at one time. So we built it gradually. We talked about the performance of UWF. You know, we're the 6th ranked school, tied for 6th in the state of Florida. The highest Division II school. We're one point below Central Florida and 2 to 3 points below FSU. That's how well we're doing in performance metrics. And of course, we know that the White House believes in merit-based things. So merit-based, our universities doing pretty well. Then we started to dig into the trustees. 2 really stood out. I called North Dakota College. I called friends, started digging, finding research papers that were written, finding what they had said in meetings, not taking what was written in other media, but going to YouTube, watching the videos, finding the papers, calling the head of National Public Radio in Boise and talking to him, talking to people that had gone head to head with some of these people. And a lot of it's on the blog now. And none of it is exaggerated. They sort of revel in it. They tell us what they're going to do. I was really worried that Martha would be fired at the first meeting during the middle of that snowstorm. It didn't happen. But there's a playbook that's taking place. But when that did happen, when we saw an 8-5 vote, all 8 new board members vote for Yenner to be the chair. I think y'all started to realize I'm serious.
Yeah.
This is real. This isn't a conspiracy. And the first appointee that Yenner made was the head of academic affairs, which is a West Virginia name, Adam Kissel. And what's the end game? Well, there are 2 games here. One is they want the university to be their type of indoctrination. They want to rid programs that politically they don't like. Then they want to water down accreditation. That's Kissel's specialty. Because accreditation is important because that's where your students get federal aid. It's important because your students can go to another school that's accredited and their class scores, their courses will count. Employers want to know that you went to an accredited program. All those are pieces why accreditation is important. And they want to do away with it. Well, they've got a list that they want to use for accreditation, which means a degree from Pensacola Christian. Now, anything against Pensacola Christian will mean the same as a degree from UF. Certifications won't mean anything because everybody's accredited. Then money can flow to private small universities that they favor. Heritage College, Hillsville, they'll do really well in this system. That's the long-range plan. It's not conspiracy, connect the dots, build the story, you can see it. But I do think there's one thing that I want to leave you with, is I'm a disciple of John Lewis. Speak up, speak out. get in the way, get in trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America.
See why you don't get shout match with words are important. Thank you. Speaking of impact, impact really takes place on the students. Young people go through that place. Young adults, some of us continue to get learners. But the student really is the one that's impacted the most. I've had a chance to meet a young woman by the name of Monty Turner Ward, who's a grad student at UWF, and she's taken this issue apart. So we thought you might like to hear her perspective. Monty?
Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here tonight, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share my story with you. I have a promise to make to you. I am going to start with the manure, but I'm going to leave you with a So I'm currently a graduate student at the University of West Florida, where I also completed my bachelor's degree, making this my 6th year attending UWF. I love this university. It's a second home to me. And right now, I'm done. At the 2021 National Conservatism Conference, Scott Penner said, we need to de-emphasize our colleges and universities. That's essential to making progress on human happiness. As you have seen tonight, and as you know in your hearts from your personal experiences, our university needs and deserves leaders who properly understand and value our highly performing academic institution, rather than ones who call for de-emphasizing it. And that's exactly what we've had. Just within the past few years, UWF has been named a top 10 public regional university by the U.S. News and World Report, earned the highest ranking ever in the Best for Best College list, and was named a 2023 Great College to Work for. The University of West Florida has downright excelled under the direction of a board of trustees with strong local ties and President Bobby Saunders' leadership. However, I fear things may change, and not for the better. Scott Penner, as we all know, is surrounded by controversy related to his objectively misogynistic, racist, and anti-Semitic. Both in public presentations and on social media. DeSantis defended his choice to appoint Penner a few weeks ago, saying he has been a champion for the types of reform in universities that we need. Progress can always be made. UWF continues to improve annually by meeting and exceeding benchmarks set by the Board of Governors, along with our own strategic plans and goals. But does the University of West Florida need any kind of reform? No. Considering our metrics of success, I find it highly doubtful. And I fear the kind of reform Penner would seek to facilitate in our institution. He has made it clear he wishes only to champion non-Jewish women. Our university's community proudly includes many, many individuals who do not fit this description. Many of our students will be excluded and left behind. As a student, I have seen my peers reeling from these events. Female students feel less safe and less welcome. Many students from all demographics are angry and confused. I have even spoken with several prospective students who have canceled their enrollment. although most of the focus has understandably been on the donor, I think it's important to look at all these new appointees with scrutiny. Almost none of them have connections to our area. Adam Kissel, a visiting fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Center for Education Policy, especially concerns me with this desire to privatize universities and change how we approach accreditation. If you are here tonight, I imagine you already care about this issue. You probably already know about the written remarks, about the lack of connection these appointees have to our community, about the inappropriate politicization of our university. You are probably here because you want to feel like you are doing something. And just by showing up, you are. I'd like to share a little about my personal journey getting involved with this issue. I was heartbroken when I found out that our board of trustees had been so drastically changed. I was worried it would change our university from being the wonderful environment in which I earned my undergraduate degree and into a place where many of us, including myself, would feel unsafe, unseen, and unwelcome. As an artist, I often look to creative works by others to help me find my orientation to and place in a given situation. During this time, I found myself listening to a song called Only an Expert by Laurie Anderson over and over again. The satirical chorus goes, only an expert can deal with the problem, because half the problem is seeing the problem. Only an expert can deal with the problem, only an expert can deal with the problem. Eventually, I realized two things that made me stop sitting down and start standing up. First, that we as a community are the experts. This problem is about what this community values and how it wishes to be represented and led. As a community, we know more about what we need than anyone else in the entire world.
That's what it came from.
And secondly, I realized that you don't actually have to be a quote-unquote expert to solve problems you see in your community. Any of us can join together and not only demand solutions, but create them together. I have met many people who care about this issue. I've noticed that we all come from different backgrounds. Not all of us have the same political affiliations. That's powerful. We all bring different perspectives to this situation. That's powerful. It doesn't matter whether we agree on all of the issues. What matters is we all see this problem, and together we are working together to advocate for what our community truly needs. Leadership appointed from within it. And that is powerful. I'd like to address just my fellow UWF students for a moment. I am exhausted, and you probably are too. We have classes, exams, homework, jobs, and probably some amount of sleep deprivation from our usual responsibilities alone. Those of us who simply cannot add certain aspects of this issue to your to-do list right now. See you, hear you, and I want you to know that there are people fighting for us. They're standing up and saying our community, our students, deserve better leadership than those who have been appointed. Look around this room. It is filled with people who know how to help. Former UWF trustees, not experts on our community, but we are. We know what we want and need. We must demand the appointment of trustees who are from this community or at least have ties to our community in some way. These are the experts we need, not outsiders wanting to use UWF as a testing ground for a political agenda. These tend to stand up against misogyny, against racism, against bigotry, and stand up for ourselves, our professors, our friends, our neighbors, and our classmates. If you find yourself concerned about this issue, please sign the petition. Write to your representatives. Speak at the board meetings. Your voice matters, and these are the opportunities to make it heard. Working together on issues like this is how we build and maintain a community of which we are proud. I am honored that you have allowed me to share my story and perspective with you tonight. I want to hear yours too. Thank you.
Mike, you made me proud. I'm glad I went to your university. You're doing a good job. And thank you very much. Back in 1994, I had the good fortune to be elected to Florida House of Representatives on November 8th, 1994. In the next couple of weeks, we had an organizing session where all the legislators, particularly the new ones, would call Tallahassee to learn how to get along. I don't think you did such a good job of that, but there's one person I got along with. She was from the other party, across the aisle, and we were elected the very same day. Debbie Ritchie was an outstanding legislator and a good friend for many years, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the call to action.
It's funny how life works, isn't it? Gosh, it is so overwhelming to see such a crowd of people here who care about this community. And that is why we are here, because we care about this community and we love UWF, right? I kind of dropped the mic then, and I'm not really sure I need to do much more, except I think a lot of this bears repeating. We really put this town hall together to make sure we were creating awareness about what was going on. And I hope you've heard some things either that you knew, but it was helpful to hear again, or maybe you've learned a few new things. This is about the opportunity to now do something. So we would be remiss to leave this meeting without encouraging you and giving you some tools about knowing what to do. Let me ask you guys, have you ever heard the story, two frogs are on a lily pad and one of the frogs decides to jump? How many frogs are left on a lily pad? No. The answer is 2, because deciding to jump and actually jumping are 2 very different things. And this town hall, when you leave here, this is about jumping. This is about actually doing something, because my guess is you felt compelled to want to do something, but have you actually done it? And even in preparing for this tonight, it occurred to me that I was going to be talking to you about some of the things you could do, and I myself have not actually done it. So let me share just a few thoughts with you. Jerry and I could both tell you kind of what worked when we were there. Some things change, but some things don't change. And the first is, if you really care about this issue, you have to speak up. You have to make your voices heard. So let me give you some recommendations, and we can talk through some of that in the Q&A or however else you want to talk about it. I think that it's really critical that it be your point of view. You have to decide why this issue really matters to you. And if you look around this room, it matters to different people for different reasons. So we're going to give you some suggestions about the who and the how and the where, but I really want you to think about the why. We hope you take the time to share your point of view with those in a position to really influence the outcome of what happens at UWF, and that means what happens to its leadership. So if you didn't know this, the governor is a very key player in this issue. It was the governor who made these appointments, and he will be involved in future decisions around this issue. Also, very important to this issue is our legislative delegation. And fortunately for us, Don Gates is not only the senator from our district, he is also the senator who chairs the Ethics and Elections Committee that will be responsible for confirming the appointees to the University of West Florida. So contacting Don Gates, I believe, is critically important. It will not only be the Senate Ethics and Elections Committee that matters. We're also told that the Appropriations Committee that oversees higher education will also have the likelihood of affirming these appointments. So knowing who those senators are is really important. And it's interesting to note that we have one senator who sits on both of those committees. So getting in touch with that senator may also be very important. If you do your research, you can find out what issues matter to what senators. For example, that there is a senator who's actually chaired and been a part of the Commission on Status of Women. She might care about some of the comments that have been raised by one of the recent appointees to the University of West Florida. It's incumbent upon us to take what we've learned here tonight and now go do something with it. So, what's the best way to do that? I guess there are differing schools of thought on what that is. You can write or you can call. Jerry and I called Jerry. I said, Jerry, it's been a long time, but what do you think about this? Because my memory was when the communications are personal, when they're spoken from someone from the heart, they get more attention. And by the way, think about this. If you get a piece of generic mail in the mail, or you get a handwritten note that's very personal to you, which one are you more likely to want to pay attention to? I would encourage you, handwritten notes on a note card or on personal stationery. Look, sign the petitions. Great. We want to let it be known that this is a mass opinion about what's happening in this community, but make it personal. If you can't write a personal note, then email personal. If you can't write or you don't want to write, then make a phone call. The information that you need is who do you contact, where do you contact them, and as you just heard, all of this information is available on the website, saveuwf.com. It's all there for you. You can access it. I would recommend that you also take the time to make it personal. Why does it matter to you? I will tell you, I'm not only a woman, I'm also a mother with a son-in-law who was an Air Force pilot and is still in the Air Force Reserves. You've heard that our veterans and our military are very important to this community. As a woman and as a mother, I want to make sure talent comes back to this community. That's important. I am a business leader, was for many years in this community, trying to recruit top talent in this community. Young, emerging talent matters to me. I'm also pretty philanthropic. And I want to see this community thrive so that we can support effective philanthropy in this community. That's why it matters to me. Look around, examine yourself. What is your why? We want you to communicate that to the people of influence who can make a decision about the future of not only our university, but of our community. Thank you very much.
You know, it's a great community. You're a classic example of why it's a great community. We've come a long ways. It's a coastal city in the deep south. We've lived through some really bad times. Some of you more bad times than you deserve. We've outlived the strife that came with racial discord. There's much improvements that still need to be done. We've overcome Jim Crow. Hopefully we put him out for a long time to come. We've managed to reposition our community in support of women who want to make a career for themselves. We've set a lot of that behind us. Why in God's name do we want to go back? Call to action is clear. We need your help. I regret we don't have enough signs to hand out. We don't have enough pens to hand out. We're not a 501c3. We're operating out of our pocket. But we really need your help. We need it in a real grassroots kind of way. And we're counting on you to make yourself known. And to do that, we're going to begin right now. If you want to ask a question, make a statement. If it's already been said, if it's already been said, say me too. And we'll give you a chance to have something to say. Why don't you come up? Just promise. Why don't you come up? Come to me. Oh, I'm happy.
You tapped it. No, you gotta hold it up.
Proud graduate from the University of West Florida, and I'm supporting alumni. And I just want you to know that not only do we not know these people that are coming in to take over our universities, they do not share our values. They do not share our values. They do not represent us. And thank you so much. Rick Austin, I mean, you are our hero for this investigative stuff that you have gotten out there in the community. So, I mean, let's thank Rick. But y'all, we cannot let this stop here. We cannot let this stop here. And I want you to know there's a couple of things I wanted to say. Elections have consequences. This is a direct result of Governor DeSantis as our governor. And we have to remember that when elections come around. No more. And the other way that we can make a difference is to write letters to the editor of the PNJ. It is opinion at pnj.com. It is the most read part of the paper, and it's time for us to have our voices heard. Thank you.
Come to me. And you come follow me, okay?
All right, hello everyone. I have some stuff written down because I got a lot to say. My name is Sol. I'm currently a student at UWF. I'm a junior majoring in electrical engineering. So I was actually one of the organizers of the protest we had last month, demanding Scott Yenner be removed from the board. I'd like to shout out the hundreds of students who gathered on Cameroon that day. There's a lot of hunger for the rights of students to have more of a say in how our universities are run, how they spend our money, and who they take their orders from. There's a lot of other reasons to worry about our universities today, though. The appointment of Scott Yenner is one reason. Another reason is Mahmoud Khalid's abduction. He was an activist accused of no crimes who was singled out by his university, Columbia University, and by the Trump administration for exercising his free speech. Yes, I will stay on topic. For exercising his free speech to protest the genocide of his own people. It seems more obvious now than ever that students and faculty and their communities have to get organized, and we have to protect our universities. For the students in this room, this is for you. We have to be the feet on the ground, the force on the ground. We have to be the ones to stick up for our universities. Even if Yenner is replaced with somebody else, we have to remain active, and we have to protect our schools. Like Damani said, Yenner is not the only appointee, so he is not the only problem. So let's continue this struggle. Thank you.
As someone who eats, sleeps UWF as an alumni and business owner, my question is, what are we going to do after this? How are we going to have this on our minds 365 so this never happens again? And I just want to know, where are we going to get our updates so that we can keep this issue relevant, so that way we know what's going on with UWF and we come out in full force. That's my question.
Good question. We're having a modern miracle of the website, and we're going to stay in touch with you via the website. We're going to have updates, regular updates. And as time allows, or as time doesn't allow, we're going to call you together for meetings such as this to talk about where we go with it. The university has a process for assimilating community input, and they're open to you. They're very open to you, and we welcome your input. You can begin on Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning when the trustees meet, but there are also other times to be a part of the strategic planning process. So bear in mind, keep in touch with the university, stay in touch with their website, and they would love to have your input, particularly for those of you who are taking classes out there. That's a wonderful place to express yourself.
This is a question for Mr. Outson. I feel like he'd be the best person to ask, and it does piggyback on her comments. Increasingly, we find ourselves in a media bubble. I personally have had difficulty finding events like this and local campaign information for events, using Facebook, using other social media platforms. And I consider myself pretty well in the loop. How can we make sure that as a community, we're staying in the loop and communicating with each other, and not just communicating within our own bubbles?
We do our best with the blog and paper to try to keep as much information as we can out there, but it is, you're right, there's a lot of information. The Save UWF side is doing a good job. UWF is a fantastic communication department as a whole. I think that, and they really do a fantastic job. I think the challenge is to, we'll do our best with the blog, we'll do our best with the paper. If you hear anything, email me, rick@nweekly.net. I want to know what you're hearing. We've got tremendous positive feedback from you, from the community, and a lot of great news tips. So we're willing to listen, and if we can fit it into the world, we run down everything that's given to us, but we'll do our best to try to keep you in the middle.
My name is Dan. I'm one of those quarrelsome and meddlesome. Retired as a rear admiral in the United States Navy. It's a privilege to be here, and I thank you to all of you have a lot of knowledge about this. I just came back, I just retired. And so I chose to live in Pensacola. And I was taking notes throughout the night for a lot of reasons. It's a military-friendly town. It's not a town of these things that are happening. This is not what we're about. It wasn't about this when I, 20 years ago when I bought a home. I don't like to see this today. However I can help, I'd like to help. Military, when you're active duty, the Hatch Act, we're not allowed to get, we're not allowed to do the thing. Now, I'm no longer active duty.
Mr. Kessler has a problem with GI Bill. He thinks it's sort of ruined our universities. One of the things that we all have to remember is that when we move from a prescriptive military to a professional military, it was important we begin to pay them better and promise them better benefits. And these people see education as what? A benefit. And the last thing we want to do is harm our men and women in uniform simply because some ideologue thinks it might be hard on universities if they have a flow of cash from the GI Bill. So it's a good issue, Admiral, to speak out on, and we appreciate your leadership. You next.
Hi, I'm Chase, and I graduated with a couple of degrees back in 2017. And I'm kind of proud of the education that I got at UWF. And so I have an interest in making sure that the reputation of UWF is upheld as a positive one. I don't want to go throughout the rest of my life with this, bad cloud over my head about, oh, I came from UWF, doesn't that place suck now? And so that's why I'm here. I'm here for my family and my friends who also went to the university. And thank you for doing this. This means a lot to me.
Hey guys, my name is Elle Davis. I recently graduated from PSC. I was going to go to UWF, but nah. So I just want to let you guys know you're here today. Come back Thursday. This is a fight we can't give up. You know why? Because they're trying to do the same thing at PSC. You have Valentine's Day weekend. Well, in the headlines there, the board of trustees got 4 new ones appointed by DeSantis. So this is like a practice run, all right? Take it seriously. Talk to everybody you know, because we're going to have to repeat it and do it for smaller colleges. This is our community. The sign on my talisman is a community symbol. It's a TP. So I just want to extend this all to you guys, okay? Like, this is serious. It's going to be a real deal, guys. We got to get in there. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie. I'm a community organizer in the same board that Sol, who spoke earlier, is in. We do things like backpack school supply drives and affordable housing town halls at the community center that we run, things like that. I had a concern and related question for the board. The board. My question is very, very similar to the young lady in the houndstooth jacket. But I figured since we're all thinking it, we should all say it. What are we going to do if we successfully oust Yenner and the other appointees, and then Tallahassee replaces them with better spoken, but similarly right-wing, out-of-touch ideologues? And another way of saying it, my real question is, are we waging a campaign against the recent appointments alone, or are we fighting for just representation in UWF leadership? Thank you.
Question? You can keep your seat. I'll come right to you. You look like you're wounded. But obviously, we're going to continue this fight. We're concerned about UWF, and we're going to make sure things get on even key. Hopefully.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, all of you. My name is Holly Shelton. I'm married to Don Snowden, but I am a Pensacolian by choice, and I love and appreciate this. I grew up in Memphis with a father and mother who were civil rights activists, and my father taught me the value of a great city and the positive downtown that makes all the difference in the world. I just want to let you know at 53, I graduated from UWF in the second cohort of the new Masters for Social Work. For social work, the second cohort. So every time we had meetings and stuff was changing left and right. So I switched to the part-time cohort, which was a lot more my speed. But I'm telling you, this university matters so greatly, and this city matters so greatly. And I know so many other things I could say, but I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that Robin made me come, even though I'm wounded, and yesterday I'm clumsy and I'm wounded. But I'm willing to do anything except take off my clothes, and nobody asked me to do that. Whatever I can do to help. I'll make up a new song for the whole city. You just let me know. Thank you.
There's a whole new meaning to having skin in the game.
Good one.
My name is Julie Patton, and I'm a social worker in this community. I'm from this community. I graduated from PHS in 1964, and it means a lot to me to have the Panhandle respected. When I moved back in middle age, I joined organizations like the National Organization of Social Workers, and I found that to get any recognition for our unit or our work from the rest of Florida was the hardest thing I had ever done anything about. And I'm concerned about several things now. One of them is obvious for UWF and Pensacola State College, whoever just mentioned that. But I also see a pattern of problems by the governor that really involves no respect for the Panhandle and a feeling that they can come in like we're a bunch of rubes and just do whatever they want to. They've devastated the school board. I go to the school board meetings. I've been working on the issue of the banned books, and it's really chaotic and crazy to try to go there because it's not possible to have any kind of dialogue about the books. It's all a political hidden agenda. In addition to what has just been done at the University of West Florida, DeSantis is also talking about doing his own set of layoffs and reducing the bureaucracy here in Northwest Florida. And I think that there are so many people here who work for the VA, who work for veterans. I see my friends who are worried about their jobs. And I think that it's because he sees us as vulnerable, and he sees us as a place where he can just come in and do what he wants. So I think it's very important to communicate to Don Gates, to all of our representatives, that we really need the governor just to stand down right now. Because he is, I don't know what his ultimate goal is, but his ultimate goal is interfering a great deal with life here in Northwest Florida. I think we've got a good life with people who work on problems that are identified. And I think that we need to be really writing to the governor too, to say, you know, we are fine here. And please, pursue your political agendas someplace else. But we are not right here just to be picked and said.
Hi there, my name is Stephen Gray, and I don't have much to add to this that hasn't been said already, but I had unique story to share that I thought might help galvanize any feelings that I speak of at this point. Once upon a time, I used to be involved in international nonprofit work. And in early, I want to say 2011, I was in West Bengal, India. And the people who ran a school and orphanage I was helping out with told me that their daughter was going to be going to Florida for school. And these are folks who couldn't tell you a single thing about Florida politics, Florida geography, Florida issues, but their daughter was going to UWF from all the way over there. And that was 14 years ago, before things were fully booming the way they have been these last few years. And sure enough, the next semester, I met them on January 5th. By January 10th, their daughter was quite literally sitting next to me in Bobbitt's media communications class in UWF. So that's a reputation that this school brings to this area that I hate to see us lose. And as someone who was raised in an environment that most people would describe as cult-like, education, critique of authority, and free thinking are extremely important to me personally, and it just means a lot to see how many people came out here tonight.
Hi, I'm Katie Miller-Wolf. I'm faculty at UWF. I'm a scientist, a little female scientist. But what I wanted to keep in mind for you all is that we found out that only 3 of the members who are on our board of trustees have now been put forward for vote. So it is the governor's timetable to put some of these people forward again, or it's not on the list. So when you are writing this is advice I would love from these folks, what we can do, because we have 5 trustees that are going to be voted on, but 3 of the trustees are not going to be voted on, including Menor. So, and there's many reasons I'm guessing, but it's the governor's timetable, and he can keep them on our board of trustees before and after the Senate Ethics Committee votes. So this is something to keep in mind, and I don't know if we have advice from these folks of what to do in that case.
Now, the advice is this: the governor has the prerogative to hold some nominees back, to take his time when he puts them forward. He can do that in an effort to get beyond some time period. For example, one of the biggest critics in this process is a Jewish senator by the name of Randy Fine. Randy's running for another office. When Randy's out of the legislature, he's not a person of contention. So the governor can schedule this thing according to his own time. To be simple and to be straight with you, he intends to put these 8 people on board. It doesn't matter when he puts them forward. You need to express yourself about their behavior. Okay? That's the strategy. I'm going to impose on Dr. Judy Vince to come up here and speak. We have from the university people, because we didn't want them to get sucked into punishment that goes along with politics. But since the professor went ahead and opened the door, I'm going to ask Judy if she would to share any thoughts that she may have about this. Judy was one of my presidents, and she is really an activist, an extraordinary activist in her academic field of archaeology. She opened it up to the public. How about that? And she's been really historic preservation, and we're proud of her for that service. Judy, would you want to stay, please?
Thank you, Jerry. And I am absolutely blown away at how many of you are here. It warms my heart, because I know when I came here in 1980, we were the little college up on the hill that kept their head down and just stayed out of the way. And I knew that that was always a recipe for disaster, because someone will try to take us over, and they have. Florida State tried twice, and when I became president, my real goal was this: to have a community, to make the university valuable enough to the community that you all, the community, was the only entity that could save it. And that is true. The faculty are different people, they do different things, and they are allowed the freedom to pursue their research and teaching goals. But the students are busy taking classes, the staff are busy making the university run. But it is you that have the real power.
When I began archaeology here in the streets in Pensacola, my colleagues thought that I had really taken a wrong turn. But I knew that the only people that could save the archaeology in Pensacola that is underground and precious, and I was blown away at really what is left behind, and it worked. When I began to walk into City Hall and raise my hand and say, wait a minute, they said, no, we'll do it. And I said, why are you telling me yes when all you've done is tell me no for 5 or 6 years? And they said, because of the people. The staff and the city council did not want to be seen as standing in the way of ruin or causing a destruction of our heritage. It was called the Fifth Column, and this is our university's Fifth Column. Now I want to prepare you for what Jerry just said. These trustees are going to be appointed. They can be confirmed or not confirmed. The governor is absolutely driven to reappoint these at the end of session for a whole year. He can do it again, and he can do it again. I don't really know what we can do other than what you have said. But one of the things we can do is make it hard for them. We can make it hard. We can constantly say no. We can say this is wrong. You're not supposed to do this to our university. That's all you can shame them, and in public. If the governor, he's only got 2 more years, but they can do a lot of damage in 2 years. Just a terrible amount of damage. Already faculty leaders and job seekers are flooding the academic market to get the heck out of UWF because they're afraid. Students are turning away. So we've already started the spiral down just because of the tone of what he's trying to do. But we have got to stand in their way. Even people have told me no 1,000,000 times. And I became president of the university. And I couldn't believe it, all the negative. People said, no, you can't do that. And so the point I want to make is, first of all, thank you for coming out. This has almost brought me to tears several times this evening, because I see it in you. You are the ones that will help us. You can stand in the way, and it will make a difference. You may think not, and you may lose battle after battle after battle. Trustee after trustee after trustee will try to change our university. And they can, but we can make it too hard. Too hard. They will not want to fight for that long. You make it hard and be persistent, and if they finally will stop. But it will take it all to do it. And I don't know what making it hard means, except standing up, saying something, going to meetings and saying, no, that's crazy. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Jerry said, my name is Casey Gartman. I'm a proud double graduate of the University of West Florida. I first arrived at UWF in the fall of 1995. I too was not a very good student. But the power of UWF is those faculty take a personal interest in you. You know when a light bulb finally came on for me, when I was going to do big things in my career? When I walked into Dr. Martha Saunders' classroom, and I took my first communication class. She is phenomenal. She is exactly the type of leader that we need for this institution, but I'm also here as a former employee of the university. I was the director of alumni relations. I had the honor to serve for 6 years. But now, I'm also the mom of a future student. My son will be a freshman at UWF this fall. And I want him to go to my university. Not university of business. Please, do your part. Make your voices heard. Go to Tallahassee, write the letters, make the phone calls. I can tell you, it does make a difference. Thank you.
We're running short on time, so please be as brief as you can. But be as vitriolic as you like.
Hey everybody, my name is Sean Bush. I am a graduate from UWF during the pandemic. That was a very difficult time. Trying to keep it brief. I have the pleasure and the privilege of painting one of the cute murals downtown. I would encourage you to please look closer at some of the messages there. I'd like to leave them very open-ended but very serious. Really speaking on the idea that we may be small individually, but the contributions that we make are absolutely massive and they matter, and that they will plant new ideologies, and I think we need that more than ever right now. So I just want to appeal to your sentimentality of hope. Esther Money has done so wonderfully earlier. She probably reminded me earlier too. So thank you all very much for everything. On the board, you guys put this all together. Thank you.
There's been a lot of talk about size. You need to understand, as the state goes, Florida's a bit of an aberration. 24 million people. We have some universities that live next door to Mickey Mouse, so they have quite an attraction. Some of our universities are quite large. And some trustees around the state have it in their head that poor little UWF out there, little waif, is struggling. You look it up, you got your handheld. You ever heard of Notre Dame? We're bigger than they are. In fact, if you draw a 300-mile radius around Pensacola, you look at the regional universities, you look at Valdosta State, you look at South Alabama, you look at Montevallo, you look at a lot of universities around us, and you'll find that they're all smaller than we are. Size really doesn't make a university. And we should not let them use that leverage to say we need to change UWF. And they're doing it frequently. In fact, one of our new trustees, appointees, his first day said, poor, small university. No, it's not poor, and we're pretty big. So let's dispel that myth up front. Who's next? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I don't want to be on the camera, so I'm going to say this, I want you to take it and know why. So my partner actually works for a certain company, and they also go to UWF. They could not be here tonight because they were afraid to lose their job. They were actually recommended not to come here because of possibly losing their job. I hate how political all of this is. I'm a past UWF alumna. I found UWF. Actually, I found Pensacola because of UWF. Woo! I'm from New York. Me too. I grew up in South Florida for all my middle school and high school years, and my mother gave me 2 ultimatums because I told her I was going to take a break for a year. And she said, no, you're going to go to college or you're going to go to the military. So I looked up whatever was left, and it just so happened UWF had the best anthropology program that I saw that I wanted to go to. So that's what brought me to UWF. I don't want to see this happen like everybody else, but I just wanted to say those 2 things, that UWF does pull people from other places that wasn't necessarily founded at all. So, that's UWF alumni turned Pensacola locals. I've been here. People are risking their jobs for this. They've been seeing people get fired when they're speaking out. And, yeah.
Thank you. Got a short fuse going here.
Okay, hi everyone. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Sam Brown. I'm a proud also graduate of the University of West Florida. But I did want to address one thing that I haven't heard anybody else talk about. So when I was at UWF, I majored and graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering with a minor in computer science. Specifically called out. I'm sorry, it still makes me want to cry to this day. To hear somebody say every effort was being made to discourage women from engineering and from the other fields. term male gender wrote. In order to reach what they believe is an imperative for a just and equitable distribution of engineers, they set up scholarships and programs aimed at inspiring young women to enter the field. They shouldn't be doing this. I am an engineer because I did a program. While I love my coworkers, it's really, really hard at times being the only woman you see every single day, every single meeting. I am the only woman. So that is why even now I still try to contribute as much as I can, because I know that there are other girls who may not have the same opportunities as me. I stay involved with SWE. I invite UWF to come and do interviews of me on site because engineering is important to me, and especially motivating women to join engineering is really, really important.
I want you to know we see you, we hear you, and we love and appreciate you. Thank you.
So I want to emphasize that, this feels political, and yet, as Jerry said, there are people here from all parties, right? So when I encourage you to talk about why this issue matters, we got a lot of procedural jumps to go through. There's a lot of potential ways this can go. There's potentially multiple times we're going to have to go back, as Dr. Benz just said. When you do that, it's powerful. That is personal drive, and it's connection, and it does make a difference. So find that kind of power in your voice, and it means speaking about why it matters to you, whether it's love of the community or for her, personally, what it means to her to be a woman in that field, right? So I just thought it was a tremendous example to highlight.
If we're with our time, I've got room for 2 more, okay?
I'll be quick. My name is Karen Joel. I'm a native Pensacolian. I owe my whole career to University of West Florida. I graduated in 1986. Like the speaker a minute ago, Dr. Martha Saunders was one of my teachers. I have undue respect for her then, and I still hold her in the highest possible regard. My maiden name is Tina. My name is on this town. It matters. And I also, besides Dr. Martha Saunders, I had the privilege of being taught by Cooper Yates, who taught me advertising design, and Joe Himmer taught me advertising copywriting. And for those of you who don't know, Himmer and Yates was the premier advertising agency in Pensacola when I graduated from college in 1986. Cooper did me the privilege of giving me a job as a runner. And then I went on to be his media buyer. And then I was an account executive, and there's Michael Rowan back there, who I recognize, and I worked with his wife, Robin. I'm here tonight because when I left Pensacola, I had the privilege of also staying in the region, and I went as far as Sandestin, and my wonderful 80-year-old friend, Tom Patton, who I worked with at Sandestin, made sure that I knew to be here tonight, and I spent my weekend writing the letters, every one of them. Jennifer Bradley is the name of the woman who is on both of the committees, in case you don't know, because I do, because I spent my weekend writing those letters. I want to thank Tom again for making sure I'm here. I want to thank everybody. This is an incredible Today, I wish I had been because they're needed more than ever. Thank you so much.
My friends for a long time, former trustee of UWF, mentor to a lot of business people. So,
I was not planning to speak because a lot has been said and it's been very powerful. UWF took me in when I was a lost child. It was 3 years old. I didn't even know what I was going to major in. And in my first semester, first quarter, I found out I liked accounting, and here I am today. I've gone on and given everything I can to this university. I enjoyed my 10 years on the Board of Trustees. It was a wonderful experience. What's happening to us, I disagree that there's a personal insult in the sense that they think we're rubes. The problem is I think we're irrelevant. We're watching a bigger political thing unfold. So the only thing I know to do is appeal to the one person who has the power, and that's the governor. So make sure you do everything you can to contact him and stress, if I were him, what will my legacy be? And right now, this is a black mark on his legacy, and you may appeal to some change of heart. I'm not sure we can, but don't quit trying.
And I thought I might suggest to you, if you didn't sign in, please do. That's one way we're able to stay in touch, communicate among this group of people, at least. If you're a mind to donate, let me tell you unashamedly, this is not a tax-deductible gift. We're not a 501c3. We're just a gaggle of folks that got together and want to make a difference. So if you want to help financially, look at the website, you see some addresses, or you can always drop $1 in the jar. But we would love to have your support. With that, I'm going to bring this meeting to a conclusion. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being good.